A good vach to everybody. We are back to our Amud Yomi Shiur. Amud Yomi Shiur. We are now learning about the mitzvah of Yi'ud. Yi'ud means that when a man, like in the times of the Torah, when a man would sell his daughter as an Ama Ivriya, then there's an option of that girl to marry the Odoin. What's the Chiddush? The Chiddush is that the same money that was originally used for what? Buying her, as the Odoin would give the money to the father, as what? As Kiddush, as, excuse me, no, as sale, right? Eventually, anytime before this and the end of her term, he can turn that into the money of Kiddushin, and she's the wife, and he can say, Arei bitcha mikudeshes li. Now, I made a mistake. I made a mistake because I told you last week that it doesn't work lemafrea, it doesn't work retroactively from the time of the shifchus. In other words, let's say 5.5 years after the money was given, the Odin decides, I want her as a wife. Yeah. So I said that money, no new money has to be given. That's true. But the old money, how does it work? So I thought it works mikanu la'abo. That was from now on, she's his wife. It's not so simple because Rashi will tell us today or tomorrow, the end of the next Talmud, Rashi says that really the girl lemafrea is mekudeshes. That's not so simple. Now, lemafrea, right from the start, it sounds like lemafrea was really his wife. It's not so simple at all. All the Achronim have an issue with that because it's not so simple. But let's just leave it there. Right now, it's a question when it applies. Does it apply completely to lemafrea or somewhere in between? Let's leave that on the side. I just wanted to correct it. And also, according to BSD Underage, it's surely I was right. It's only from now on, not it doesn't reflect on the past. But I'm saying it's an issue that will be discussed. But I think I was a little bit too harsh taking sides here. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, there are different studies here. Now, where were we holding? We are now. Let's review from the Shovin Shomer Almono. Yeah, line starts with the word Omu Moichel Krovim Vishovin. I think it's about 15 lines or so from the bottom of the page. Yud Ches Amud Beis. Vishovin Shomer Almono Lekohen. You can start from the line Lekohen Godoil. That's a good place to start. Let's now remember what was our question. The question that the Gemara posed was Yud. Is Yud considered as Kiddushin? When the money turns into money of Kiddushin, is it Kiddushin and they still need afterwards to do Nisuin, Chuppah? Usually it's done by Chuppah. Somebody told me that I shouldn't say Chuppah. When I say Chuppah, I mean Nisuin. Usually Nisuin are done through Chuppah nowadays. Yeah? Nisuin means what? That they're fully married. Yeah? He gets her Yerusha. If he's a Kohen, he becomes Tomit to her. Nedorim, she's his full wife. And the question is, when Yud was started, any point, he decided she's not going to be my shivcha, she'll be my wife. What an upgrade. Is that money now Kiddushin, and she's only Mukudeshes, and they still have to do something else for Nisuin? Or do we say, no, that's already second stage. The money was given already before. Maybe now the Yud only finishes it off, and we say it's Kiddushin and Nisuin in one go, and she's ready in Nisua. By the way, we had the same question about Bia, if you remember. Yeah, there was a Shaila, right? Kiddushin Bia. When a person is ba, has relations with a woman in order to be mekadosh in a respectful way, do we say it's kiddushin and you still need something else, or do we say no? Bia is what can be more than bia? That so maybe bia is kiddushin and nisuin together. Sometimes yud also. Do we say yud is just kiddushin, or also kiddushin and nisuin? The Gemara is now. We're going back a little bit. It was an attempt to prove from the following statement. The following statement was as follows: V'shovin shomarchu almanu l'kohen godol. Without going now to all the details, because this is just a review, it says in the Braisa that everyone agrees that a man may sell his daughter when she's an almana. There is a situation in which a girl can be sold by a father. Tell me, please, a girl of 12 and a half, can she be sold by the father? Not even 12 in a day. She stays. She goes. So now, if she's 11, 10, 9, and she's already an almana, right? Meaning she had kiddushin before or nisuin or something, right? And now we're saying yes, an almana may be sold. She's an almana, meaning she was married. I think every widow in the world has one thing in common. They're all married once. I think so. Yeah, that's one thing in common. Yeah, they may be young, old, black or white, but I think all widows were once married. So there is a little girl who was once married, and the father is allowed to sell her, even though the man is a Kohen Gadol and he won't be able to marry her. Wait a second. Says the Gemara, Hi Almana Echidami. Let's hold right there. Hold it. There's a girl who's an Almana, and her father is allowed to now sell her to someone, be it a Kohen Gadol, be it I don't know, seller in the market. You're telling me a little girl almona can be sold. Let's contemplate and stop for a second. If you want to tell me that she herself received her own kiddushin while her father is alive, the father is alive because he's selling her. If he's selling her after the death of her husband, I think like he is alive, right? And yet, although the father is alive, still she's mekadosh herself. That 10 years old knows what she wants. She went and she received kiddushin from someone. Almani karila. You call her an almana, it's a joke. You know, kids do play daddy and mommy. It's nothing. A little girl who's a father, even if the daddy is a big man, is a bar mitzvah, but the father is there and the father didn't give his more than consent. The father wasn't doing the myself of Kabbalah's Kiddushin. It's nothing. A girl whose father is alive, there is no way that she can be miskadish by herself. So you don't call her almana. You call her girl playing mommy. That's all. You know, Shabbos candles, nothing. The Ella must be what? The Kidsha Avia. You're telling me that the father was Mekadesh her. The father was the one who received the Kiddushin the normal way. The father received Kiddushin from a man. She was married to the man. I'm saying the word married, which is very general. Yeah. She was married to the man. She received Kiddushin. The father receives Kiddushin for her. That's what it should be. If so, that she's married. That I agree. And her husband died. So far, so good. But then, excuse me, Mimatzi Mazbin law. Can he, after she is a widow, can he sell her? No such thing. If you remember, we learned that although not everyone agrees to that, according to Rabbi Akiva, and we assume the halacha is like Rabbi Akiva, a man is not allowed to, shall I call it in one simple English word, a man is not allowed to downgrade his, l'shifchus achar ishus, to downgrade his daughter. Meaning, if she was once married to a man, and then she was an almana grusha, whatever that is, he's not allowed to sell her afterwards as a maidservant, as an ama. Why? We learned the post according to Rabbi Kiva. What do we say? Bevigdoi bo means once she was bigdoi, once the talis was over her head. Once we say that the talis, meaning she was married, once married, and then she's not married anymore, he cannot do what? Limshol lebigdoi bo. He cannot. He cannot sell her to another am. Here's the pasuk. Yeah, it says. Yeah, it says lo yimshol lemochro bevigdoi bo. Once she was married, big doy, she had the talis of her husband over her head, yeah, which could be kiddushin, by the way. Don't compare it to the chuppah. Kiddushin or nisuin, we assume it's kiddushin. He's not allowed to sell her afterwards. So what's going on here? Yeah, so again, we have a problem. How do you have a young almana, below 12, yeah, married through the father, the regular system, the regular conduit, and then the father can sell her? Something's wrong here. We are seriously stuck here. We find one solution. And with that, we're going to answer a question about the essence of Yud. What's the answer? What does he say? We found a solution. It's Kiddush Yud, the first marriage she had. It's the only marriage so far. The marriage which she became widowed from is Kiddush Yud. There was Yud. She was sold as an Amma with potential of Yud, and there was Yud. However, Yud, following the opinion of Rabbi Yosef Bar Yehuda, the Omar, he said, that is something which we finished off with last time, which means we say like this. We have found Mazel Tov, we found one case in which a girl, listen to this, gets mikudeshes herself without the full, I mean, every word I'm saying is measured, without the full involvement of the father, and it still works halachically, and she's married. Magic. How is that? Rabbi Yosef Bar Yehuda has a very different hashkafa to the concept of Yud, and maybe we'll get there today in today's shiur. Rabbi Yosef Bar Yehuda says as follows: when the father received 5.5 years ago, let's say before the Yud, yeah, the father received money from the Odoin. That's really very nice, and yes, there's potential Yud, but the money that the father received and the Odoin, whatever they said to each other, is pretty much disconnected from the actual Yud. Yeah. We know the Yud may happen and it's potentially there, but that money that the father received is not the money of Kiddushin. That is not the money of Yud, and the father is actually not receiving the money of his daughter's Kiddushin, as opposed to regular Kiddushin, which he does. So how does Yud work? So we said, let's say it's 5. Let's make it more dramatic. It's not me, by the way. The Gemara makes a very dramatic case. Let's say the girl already worked there 5.99 years, yeah? She still has work, because every time she works, she's paying off, right, the prepayment of the Odin, right? The Odon paid 6 million shekels for that girl. She's a very industrious girl. She's definitely worth 1 million shekel a year. She turns your house from a shams to a palace. Very good ozeret. Yeah, 6 million you prepaid the Odon, right? I don't know how much is million divided to 365 days, but the kids are at the end of the 6th year, right? She is now about to wake up in the morning and work and clean the floors and wash the dishes, right? And do what? In order to pay off an amount of money. Says the Odin to the girl, not to the father. I'm saying it more assertively now because I saw that I was right on that. Yeah. He says to the girl, Hare at me, you edisli, not with the father's money, but with the money that you owe me. You owe me now work, right? I prepaid for your work. Yeah, you prepay a guy, he's supposed, yeah, the guy's supposed, you prepay a painter, let's say to work per day, let's say, yeah, every day is supposed to come and paint. Good luck to you. Yeah. So then what? So now the amount of money you owe me through working, that will be your kesef kiddushin. That's how Yud works. Where's the father? Well, he has to be involved because Lamaisa, the father, is one who sold her. But the kiyud itself is actually not something given to the father. It's given or deducted from the girl. And says Rashi, that is called GH. That is Gzeras HaKosuv. Gzeras HaKosuv. Which means we found one case very unique and very interesting. Only Yud, only according to Rabbi Yehuda, when we found Mazel Tov, a case in which a girl gets married by herself without the father receiving Kiddushin for her, because it's her work that she's deducting for the Kiddushin, and she's Mekudeshet, Kivyochol, semi-independent. I'm saying semi, because of course the father is the one who sold her, not she herself, yeah? But Lamaisa, her Kiddushin relate directly to her. Mazel Tov. So now we found the case of Yud, in which the girl herself was miskadeshes without the father mekadesh her, right? And that's why when the guy died, her husband died, now she's an almana, and now she's back to the father's house, and now she is really, yes, being able to be sold by the father, because the father is the, excuse me, the father is the one that only has one go in the game. The father can only what? Let's say marry her off once, that's it. You married her off once, you can't sell her again. But if she married herself off, so to speak, because Yud is directed to her, then the father says, no, I never ever married her off. Therefore, I'm allowed to sell her now as an Amma, as a Shifcha. That's the answer. So far, we're not talking about Yud, but that's how we have a case in which a girl, Midaraisa, Kosher Mehadrin, all according to Halacha, we found the one niche, the one interesting case in which a girl herself receives Kiddushin, and yet, not yet, and therefore, the father can now, after that kind of widowhood, he can now sell her as a shifcha, because he never married her off. I, as the father, am not allowed to marry her off, then sell her off. But if she married herself off, well, I'm not the one who did that. Hands off. Yeah, it's mitzidi a first, and therefore I may sell her as ein amma. That one I prefer no questions right now because we have to hit the nail on the head right now. Zok the Gemara. Remember what was our question? What was our question originally? Now, what are we dealing with? Is Yud Kiddushin or is Yud Nisuin? I want to explain again what it means. Yeah, is Yud Kiddushin just Kiddushin, or is it the final stage Nisuin? That's it, complete wife of the new guy. Is that Yud? Zok the Gemara, and here comes the punchline of the proof. The Omat Nisuin Oisa. If you want to tell me that Yud does Nisuin, if Yud is tantamount to Nisuin, then Kevin Shani says Shuv en la reshus. Then you didn't achieve anything with that solution. You didn't gain anything because once married legamre, once she's nesua, the father is not allowed to do anything to her anymore. We have a few psukim in the Torah from Yerusha, from Nedorim, clearly in the Torah, mid deoraisa. Rashi uses the word deoraisa. In the next Amud, deoraisa, once a girl is fully married, meaning nisuin, meaning after chuppah, after cheder yichud, after she has a head cover, when she's fully married and then she got divorced or widowed, clearly the father, she's out of the domain of the father completely, and then for sure cannot sell her afterwards. So in other words, you created a very nice situation of Yud followed by the father selling. If Yud can be followed by the father's sale, must be Yud is only Kiddushin, because Kiddushin, she's not out of the father's domain. When a girl is going through Kiddushin, a young one, the father's still in charge. He's still in charge of her Nedorim, halfway, together with husband. He gets the Yerusha, Tuma, everything. Mimela must be that really Yud is Kiddushin from the fact that after Yud that ended with widowhood or divorce, he can still sell her, must be the Yud is only Kiddushin. Because had it been Chupa Nisuin, like Chupa Nisuin, then that's it. She's out, black hole. She's out of your domain. That's what the Gemara wants to prove. The Gemara is going to challenge it and come back to it. By the way, that is going to be true Lamaskana, but we're going to have some back and forth. Question, quick, prefer only questions are that to the point here. Yeah, local question. Now the Gemara is trying to break that proof. The Gemara now is trying to reject that proof. Talk the Gemara ve'elamai eyusin oiso. Yeah. What do you want to tell me then? What's your big news? What are you so excited about? You're telling me what? That really Yud is erusin. It's only erusin, okay? And then everything is good. And then frag the Gemara v'shovin shemoicho. And now, are you happy now? Ha'ein od moichas bito l'shifchus achar ishus. Which means what? You still have a problem. In other words, even if the girl is only what? Only moreses, only mekudeshes, still a man is not allowed to sell his daughter once she was mekudeshes. We actually answered that question already, and the Gemara knows that, but the Gemara is building up towards something. If the man himself was selling her to ishus, he's not allowed to then afterwards sell her for shifchus. I know what you're going to tell me, what I just told you a minute ago. Shiny irusin dida meirusin da'avia. What did we say all the time now? What we're so happy about? That we found a case in which her erusin are different to the erusin of the father, right? In other words, we said, really, the father, as a gavre, as a person, he's not allowed to sell her, and then the same father cannot give her, to give her to a wife, to sell her as a wife, and then sell her as a shifcha. But if she did it herself, then it's fine. That's what we said, right? If she's the one who became a wife by her own accord through Yud, according to Rabbi Yehuda, then enechinami, it's okay, and she can later become a shifcha. The father can sell for a shifcha. If so, wait a second. If so, then I'll say the same thing. Afilu tema nisuin. You know what? Maybe Yud is really nisuin, and I would use the same mechanism for nisuin. Afilu tema nisuin. So even if you tell me that Yud is nisuin and not kiddushin, like you're telling me, even if it's nisuin, I would use the same logic exactly. Shiny nisuin dida, nisuin da'avia. I would say the same thing. Why do you think it's such a holy cow? Why do you think it's such an unbeatable, untouchable concept, a dogma? You're telling me, nisuin. Once it's chuppah, she's untouchable. Who said? It's her chuppah. Just like he's saying that her kiddushin, following her kiddushin that she did, is something that afterwards the father may sell her as a shifcha. Maybe the same thing for nisuin. Maybe that she received money of Yud or deducted the sponja of one day, and that made her nisua. It's her nisuin. So maybe the father can still say exactly the same thing. I'm allowed to have a go. I never had a go on a nisuin. Just like you're telling about kiddushin, that her kiddushin may be followed by him selling her to shifcha, maybe to her nisuin. Yeah, even if you say the money of Yud is nisuin, she's fully married. You want to say fully again? Convince me more. So what? He died. Her full nisuin was her thing with him, not the father. And therefore, afterwards, the father can do whatever he wants. Exactly the same logic. What's the difference? And therefore, back to square one, he did not prove anything. I'm still in debate. I'm still in question. Do we say Yud is kiddushin or nisuin? Answers the Gemara, no, there's a big difference. There's a big difference between kiddushin that she creates and nisuin that she creates herself. As we're going to see now with Rashi, and we're going to see Tosfos today, Rabbi Simkin. Hi mai, zog the Gemara, yeah, we'll see Tosfos inside. Hi mai, in not so nice language is, what are you talking about? Hi mai means, what's the comparison? Well, what are you talking about? No, there's no way to compare kiddushin to nisuin. Why? Bishlama, erusin me erusin shiny. One erusin from another is different. Erusin created by the father and erusin created by her are different. Kiddushin created by her still allow the father to what? To afterwards still sell a shifcha. El nisuin mi nisuin mi shiny, but nisuin to nisuin are not different. That's it. The Gemara doesn't say why. The Gemara doesn't say why. So the Gemara was very, very clear that kiddushin depends who created the kiddushin, while nisuin is clearly, whether created by the father or by the daughter, nisuin is a point of no return to the father. Once she's nisua, whether it was created by the father, by the daughter, by the Holy Ghost, whatever, whoever created the nisuin, once she's nisuin stage, That's it. The father cannot do anything. The question is why. The question is why. I'll say it in my own words a little bit in a superficial way, and then we'll see it in Tosis. Tosis is at the end of Yudches Amud Beis, from the middle, from the first wide line of Tosfos. Yeah, the first wide line of Tosfos. Yeah, you see Tosfos, the last Tosfos in the page. The Tosfos starts with the word Bishla Ma'erusin Me'erusin, and then Tosfos, there is a wide line, and Tosfos explains as follows. Bishla Ma'erusin Me'erusin Shani. Let me say something. No, I'll say it in Tosfos. I won't say my own words. I'll say Tosfos. The Akati. You tell me. Please tell me, people. When a girl is Me'ureses, when a girl is Arusa, and nobody died, the husband is alive, and she's alive, and the father is alive. When a girl is Mekudeshes to her husband, is she completely out of the domain of the father? For let's say Nedorim? No. Sorry. During the Kiddushin. During that year. Whichever month. Made for the Nedorim with the husband. Not even a year, even less, yeah. The father is made for Nedorim together with the husband. Yerusha, who gets the lolly? Who gets the money in case she dies and she has money from somewhere else? The father, not the husband. He's not yet a husband. He's like a fiancé husband, kind of Uros, yeah. Also, it's a kohen. If her husband is a kohen, is not metamet. The father is metamet to her. So girl who's mekudeshes really does belong to the father still. And if her father dies, yeah, excuse me, if the husband dies, if the man dies, yeah, then what? She automatically goes back to the father. She never really left him. Yeah. Elamai, the Torah was mechadish shechidish, gzer sakosuv, that although she is back to the father, because she never really left him after Kiddushin, there's one halacha that says he's not allowed to sell her to be a shifcha. Mashenken nisuin, once a girl is nisua to her husband, she's completely halachically detached from the father. The tamela tuma, only the husband coin is metamet, not the father. Who gets her £5 million, more than dollars, that she inherited after nisuin? Nothing. The father doesn't get a cent or a dime or a penny. Only the husband. V'chule. So now she fully belongs to the husband. So I don't care how the nisuin were created, through her, through the father, or through Pinzi. I don't care who. At the end of the day, once she's nisua, clearly the father doesn't ever go with her because she doesn't belong to him at all. I actually said the Tosfos outside already. Maybe you can have your homework to look at Tosfos inside. Tosfos says it better than me, but I would continue for now. Okay, it's 10 to 10, but that's the idea. Okay, again, when it comes to Kiddushin, and we proved our point. The point is proven now. We're good. We're holding in a very good place now. Again, we've proven from Yud as follows. If there is Yud, like Rabbi Yehuda kind of Yud, she's independently working against two with the husband. If the husband and her, the father's out of the picture. That's what Rabbi Yehuda, almost out of the picture. To say there? Now, if it's Kiddushin and the husband died, then what? Kiddushin, she never really left the father's domain. Now that the husband is dead, automatically she's back to the father. Now, if the father is the one who wants with the Kadisher, he doesn't ever go with her again to sell as a shifcha. But if she's the one who created those kiddushin, then we go back to normal and we say no. She was Mekadesh as a father. I wasn't Mekadesh her, and she's in my domain. She's under me, and I wasn't Mekadesh. I never had a chance on the slot machine. Only she did. I'm having my first chance on the slot machine of what? Of kiddushin. I'll be Mekadesh. Excuse me. I was. The first time she was Mekadesh herself. Now I will sell her first time. It's my first time to sell, and I was never Mekadesh her. Mashenkin, if you say it's Nisuin, all this talk is just one big nonsense. Because by Nisuin, she fully belongs to her husband. The husband died, so what? She already left. She can't turn the clock back. Once she was Nesua, real Nesua, equivalent to Chuppah, she lived with the husband, Kivyachol. That's how we compare you to. She was completely the husband's wife, and the father was completely detached. If the father is detached, goodbye. You can't turn the clock back. Can we go back to Yud Ches Kislev? No, it was a few days ago. You can't go back there. That's it. Mimela, therefore we prove that Enochinami, Yud must be what? Must be Kiddushin. That's the point we wanted to prove. If post Yud you can have Kiddushin followed by the father selling, must be Yud is Kiddushin, and we proved our point. Is Yud Kiddushin or Nisuin? It's Kiddushin. That's what we're proving. Now, yeah, we can see Tosfos inside if we have time later, maybe, but for now, I would continue. Zog the Gemara. Oh, now another question, another point to deal with. Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak, you test him at top of the page. Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak Domar. Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak has a different opinion regarding Rabbi Yehuda. Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak de Omar, afilu Rabbi Yosef bar Yehuda, mois harishonos lekiddushin nitnu. Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, which we hopefully will see later on today, he says that even according to Rabbi Yosef bar Yehuda, who say that the first money was given for kiddushin. In other words, that interesting sticky thing of Rabbi Yosef bar Yehuda, that only at the that she's miskadeshes directly through deducting the money, he says no, there's no such thing according to Rabbi Yosef bar Yehuda. Even Rabbi Yosef bar Yehuda believes that the first money was given for kiddushin. So again, we're stuck. B'mai mukimlo. How do you explain a girl who's an almano? Basically, our very cute, interesting, unique solution, we don't have that anymore. He doesn't believe in it. In other words, he believes that if she was Makadosh herself, it's a joke. And if the father was Makadosh her, then he was Makadosh her, then how come later on he can then sell her for a shifcha? So how do you have an almano being sold by her father? There's no such thing. Answers the Gemara, you know what? True. An almana, why do you think an almana can't be sold by a father? Because we said after Kiddushin, after she was miskadesh, she can be downgraded to shifra. Who said that? That was a very, very holy man called Rabbi Akiva. Did everyone agree to that? Shiur from Thursday? No. Rabbi Lezer didn't agree to that. We can say that this entire Mishnah follows Rabbi Lezer. Mukim Loki Rabbi Lezer. That's another answer. Let's continue. We follow Rabbi Lezer. The Omar l'shifchus achar shifchus hudelo matzimas bin lo. Rabbi Eliezer, how did he read the pasuk? The big doiba. No, who wants to tell me? The big doiba means what? Not beged, but what's livgod? Betrayed. Once he betrayed her by selling her to a shifcha, he cannot sell her again. Rabbi Lezer said that out of all four combinations, the only prohibited one, the only red alert one, is shifchus after shifchus. One time shifchus is enough for a girl. Leave her alone. Don't sell her to shifcha. Again, says Rabbi Lezer. He cannot sell her shifcha then shifcha. Aval shifchus achar ishus matzimas bin lo. But if there was shifchus achar ishus, shifchus that followed issues, if there was issues and then shifchus, that's allowed. Push it, it's allowed. So you ask, you're going, turning around yourself and making pretzel twists in order to what? To find a case where, to avoid that disaster called marrying her off and then selling her off. Hey, have fun. This was Rabbi Lezer. Rabbi Lezer. Rabbi Lezer is the author of this brisa, and Rabbi Lezer believes that enochinami, a girl may be sold to be a lady, to be a nesua, to be a mekudeshes, whatever that is, not nesua, no, but mekudeshes. And afterwards, what happens? Afterwards, you are allowed to sell her to be a wife. You're allowed to be an amma. You're allowed to first marry her off, and then sell her is allowed. Why? Because here the big daba means to betray. You're not allowed to betray her by betraying, selling for an amma, and then again limkor to an amma. Amma is not allowed, but isha and then amma is allowed. So our Mishnah follows Rabbi Lezer. Rashi is wondering, why didn't we think about it till now? Why did we go like this all the time? Why can't we say simply and avoided half an amud of hard amal Torah? We can avoid it by just saying, hey, a brisa follows Rabbi Lezer, and then everything is good. Who told you that it's a treifa thing to sell her as a wife and then a maidservant? Follow Rabbi Lezer. Says Rashi, we do our best to avoid Rabbi Lezer. Why? Rabbi Lezer is a shamuti. Because Rabbi Lezer is a shamuti, we always attempt not to follow his opinion and not to explain Mishnah according to Rabbi Lezer because he's a shamuti. Shamuti means one of two things. Shamuti either means that he's one of the Talmidim of Beis Shammai. Rabbi Lezer was an avid supporter of Beis Shammai, and we don't tend to paskin like Beis Shammai, to put it mildly. We in Halacha, in Talmud Bavli, we are not exactly fans of Beis Shammai Halacha, so we try to avoid Rabbi Lezer. The other pshat Rabbi Lezer shamuti is milshon shamta. Shamta means nidui. Rabbi Lezer was excommunicated. He was benidui in Maseches Bave Metzia, right? Metzia Nuntes Amud Beis, if I'm not mistaken, Nuntes Amud Beis, I think it is. Yeah, I think so. And Nuntes Amud Beis, it says over there the whole story. Rabbi Lezer argued very fiercely against Chachamim and basically against Rabban Gamliel and his Tanu Shalachnoi, beautiful Tanu Shalachnoi. I grew up on this Gemara. My father used to read to us his Gemara like every few Shabbos. He used to take out the Gemara and read us this story. Yeah. So so it's one story I remember. Okay, so that is Rabbi Lezer. So we prefer not to follow his opinion. We do that when we have no other choice. Like here, we got to the end of the sugya. We don't have another good solution. Okay, we take Rabbi Lezer from Kivyachol the bench, and now he's in the field. Adkan. So far, Yeah, we're not paskening, we're explaining that this could follow Blazer. We're not paskening like him over here. We're saying that this brisa follows him. We're not saying that's halacha. We're saying this can follow his opinion. It's a good solution, but we also have another solution. We only need that solution according to Rachman Bar Yitzchak. Otherwise, we have another solution. So Lamaisa, we didn't come up with a clear answer. Lamaisa, although the wind is blowing towards saying that yes, it makes more sense to say the Yud is Kiddushin, right? Yud is Kiddushin and not Nisuin. And as far as I know, that's halacha. As far as I know, Yud is Kiddushin. Let me just check where is the thing. I didn't see the Rambam now. Yeah, it's Erusin. Yeah, Yud is Erusin, not only Erusin / Kiddushin, not Nisuin. Now comes a new question. And Baruch Hashem, today, right? I thought I finished learning the sugya. By chance, I had Pnei Yoshua, the Sefer Pnei Yoshua, on the top of the pile of Svarim. Yeah, and I opened the Pnei Yoshua. Yes, beautiful chidushim in this sugya. Baruch Shlakish. Shlakish is asking a question regarding Yud. It says in the Torah. It says in the Torah. Yeah, it says in the Torah. Imro b'nei Adonai. No, it says in the Torah. Im libno yadena k'mishpat bonis yaselo. If the man is miya'ed, the maidservant, the amma, to his son. In other words, there are two options. When he receives the kiddushin / mechira, when she was sold to him, to the odon, and he gave kiddushin to the father, I'm saying kiddushin, not exactly true. It's mechira that potentially can evolve into kiddushin, right? So there are two options at the end of the horizon. At the end of the rainbow, two people may marry her, either the odon or his son, libnoi. I'm already telling you now the Pnei Yoshua. The Pnei Yoshua says, what says the Pnei Yoshua? That's a very big chiddush. Did the son make him a shliach? No, it doesn't say that. No, it doesn't say anywhere that the son made him a shliach. Yeah, let's say you have a nice boy. You think is a very, very nice. I'm asking you halacha l'maisa. Tell me the halacha. I'm asking. I'm surrounded by Talmidei Chachamim. I know a guy, very, very nice guy, 36, 37 years old. I feel every day I see him, I feel bad that the guy's not married. So maybe I should just give kiddushin to a lady without the guy knowing, yeah, and say she's your Haratu Kudeshes, what's his name, and that would solve all the single problems. In America, you can do that, right? You can solve the singles crisis, but just mekadesh people to the single without the single guy knowing. No, and then you tell him, mikudesh, it's a good idea, no? No? Oh really? Oh, obviously you cannot do that. It would be a nice solution if a lot of Polish shamamis, Yiddish shamamis would like to do that, but that's not a solution. He can't be mekadesh a woman to a man without his knowledge. By the way, he can't do it to a woman either if she's above 12 and you're not the father. The father can do that to a girl below 12, yes. But a man to a man, you can't do that. So that's like a kind of big chiddush, even to your own son. Let's say a man has a son who's 40 years old and he's desperate and he's mekadesh a lady as a shliach without being nominated shliach, yeah, without being appointed. You can't do that. And yet here the Torah told you a big chiddush. The Torah placed the yud, yeah, in the hands of a father to be miyayid the girl to his son without the son making him shliach. It doesn't say anywhere she has to be shliach. That brings us to a whole new question. So now we see a male version of the little girl. The father is acting without telling the son. If so, boy Lakish, that leads us to a very big question. Can the father do that to his son who is underage? The son is 11. He's not even a Kadisha to a 50 years old son. The son is 11. She's 10. They're playing nicely together. So now maybe the father would say, without the son's knowledge, yeah, he's miya'ed the girl, the amma, to his son who's a koton, who's under bar mitzvah, no shtei sairos. Maybe that's possible. In a shkofa, possibly. Because once, says the Pnei Yeshua, once we took the reins away from the hands of the son, then the sky's the limit. Who says he has to be 13, 14, 15? Maybe it can be 11, 12. Now, let me just get it straight. Clearly, normally, if not for Yud, a koton cannot marry a woman. Two sources, says the Pnei Yeshua. It's very important to know that before we start. Pnei Yeshua is always a gem. Reason number one, it says, Ki yikach ish isha. When the Torah actually tells us for the first time about Kiddushin, how it works, we saw this pasuk, back and forth already, back to front. Ki yikach ish isha. What does ish mean? Very good. Ish does mean man, a man meaning an adult man. Also, says Ibn Yeshua, last time I checked, Tanim cannot acquire anything. There are exceptions, the Rabbanon, don't start. There's a lot of exceptions and big sugas. Generally speaking, leave me alone from everything else. Generally speaking, with the Oraisa, a cotton cannot acquire stuff. Generally speaking, in a real Doraisa level, yeah, a cotton cannot pick something from Hefker and just say it's my bagbo. There are maybe Takona stories. Generally speaking, that's the Mikardin. So a cotton cannot acquire a woman, however old she is. So clearly, a regular cotton cannot just wake up in the morning and put on the bow tie, get in touch. Today's kids are very independent. Find a rabbi online, the guy's 11 years old, and make a chuppah. Can a cotton do that? No. The question is, wait, when it comes to Yud, looks like the game rules are changing. Because just like the father can be Mekadesh without the knowledge or without the consent, I would say, of the boy, then maybe also underage. Because you need the das of a cotton. Well, you don't need das. You see that the father does it for him, just like the equivalent by girl. So maybe a father of a cotton can do it for the cotton and be Mekadesh the girl to the boy without the boy being involved, even though the boy is a cotton. Maybe. So let's read the psukim. Do we say b'noi omar rachmana? Yeah, it says, I read you the pasuk. Yeah, imli b'noi adena omar rachmana b'noi kodu. His son means any son, kodu. It doesn't say b'ishoi b'noi hagodol. It says b'noi, his son. When I think of my son, I have two sons, one above him, it's one below. I don't know, both are b'noi. Yeah, b'noi, b'noi. B'noi means below age also. Maybe that's what Torah says you can do. Or dilma, or maybe no, b'noi dumi adidei. Or maybe b'noi means like him. His son means like him. His son that's like him. Mahu godol of b'noi godol. Maybe b'noi, his son comes to tell me, not ben, but b'noi comes to, as you say nicely, juxtapose the son to the father. And by the way, it makes sense also, the whole parsha is like that, right? Either marries her off to himself or to his son. So maybe they're in the same boat, they're both gedolim, so we don't know. Yeah, do we say that a son that's cotton, you can be mekadesh or girl to him or not? Amar Rabbi Zera, let's see. Rabbi Zera is now trying to find out from a different source. It says now, you tell me, because we learned it, I think, recently. Yeah, you tell me, please. Yeah, I want some tea breaks. I want you to talk now. Any of you. What's the halacha if chas v'shalom? And I think these things happen in the past, actually. I don't know. But what happens if a 12-year-old boy, who's already not behaving nicely, he had relations with a married woman, and she's 20, she's married, and he's 12. He's anywhere between 9 and 13. He's below bar mitzvah, but he's above 9. And he had relations with a married woman. And you all memezi, the Sra, times the base of Mikdash. Do you kill both of them? Do you kill none of them? Or do you kill one of them? This new Lamborghini is waiting for you. This new test, none of them. Yeah, any other bets? Wrong. The woman for sure, not for sure. It's machlokes, but the halacha, you're right. The woman, yes. Spare the kid, kill the woman. And by the way, the other way around too. Yeah. In other words, yes. In other words, if a ktana is married and the man is big and she's ktana, they married ktana. She's 10 and she's ktana, and the man in relations with her, you kill him and not her. Oh, very nice. In other words. Also. Nothing. Kid doesn't get anything. It's yourself, son. Nothing. As you said. Why is that? No, nothing. Why is that? You send him to a psychologist, I think. Anyway, he needs care. So Akshiva. So now wait a second. Why is that? A cotton above 9, physically, his mice is called the mice bia. The physical mice from 9 years old, we view a cotton having relations as relations. So the relations taking place. She's an Ashes ish, yes, so she's chayv, and she's an adult, and he's a cotton, says potter. How do you know that? It's not so simple. Let's see. Amar B'Zera. It says in the Torah, the pasuk, again, I'm reading from inside, it's important to read. It says, when the Torah talks about adultery, the punishment, how do you punish the two partners, yeah, the two accomplices in regular, cheating, adultery relationship? It says, Ve'ish asher yinaf es eshes ish. You heard? The ish, asher yinaf, which has adultery, with an eshes ish. Twice it says an adult man, meaning, listen to this. Ish prat lekoton. If a cotton has relations with an eshes ish, then what? Off the hook. He's not an ish. Off the hook is potter. Yeah? Asher yinaf is eshes ish. What do you mean eshes ish? Everyone says the word eshes ish. Like it's going out of fashion. What's eshes ish? Eshes ish. Prat leshes cotton. Excluding a woman, a wife of a cotton. Only if a gadol, if an above bar mitzvah guy was mekadesher, she's an eshes ish. But an eshes cotton is not an ish. She's like married to the table. She's not married if she's married to a cotton, right? Frek the Toises and the Ritva, why do you need a pasuk for that? Why do you need a special pasuk to exempt the cotton? Lichura, a cotton is potter from kol ha'onshim shebetorah. The cotton below bar mitzvah starts puffing away in Parka Elon, Chas V'Shalom Leil Shabbos, you don't do anything to him, right? So all the onshim shebetorah, even if he kills someone, maybe you keep him in a safe place. You don't kill a cotton ever. Why would I think that a cotton was minai? If you kill him, you need a special pasuk to tell me otherwise. Says Toises. Oh, let's read the Toises now. Oh, I owe you Toises. Ish prat lekoton, says Toises, the second Toises in the page. Rafal gav the cotton la bar oinshin. A cotton is never a bar oinshin. A cotton is never punishable. The cotton you can never punish an halacha. Why didn't the special pasuk about this case? There's a general rule you don't punish ktanim. Why do you need dafka here? Answers Toises. I do need the local pasuk here. Let me uti to exclude because I would have thought you kill him given sha'isha nereges al yodoi. The woman, she does get killed. And normally, when it comes to adultery, it's very egalitarian. We always say both sides get killed the same way, except for Bas Kohen. But in 99% of the cases, Noyef and Noyefes get the same punishment. It's very equal. Havamina, if she gets killed, he was involved in a Maisa, it was niyuf enough to kill her. So why is the guy now going out of Beis Din? I'm a little boy. Kamash Malan, he does go out of Beis Din, even though she's killed. And that's Chiddush. That's Ritva. I had to open the Ritva. I have my loyalties, Says the Ritva, different Chiddush. Says the Ritva, there's a concept called Misasek b'chalovim v'arayas is chayav. Some averas you're not enjoying physically, right? I don't know if a person killed someone. It's not physical or no. Maybe psychological, but yeah. Chalovim, if you eat yummy chalev or yummy cheeseburger or yummy chazir, I guess it's yummy. I never tried, yeah? So then what? You're physically ne'aneh. If a person has relations, intimacy, it's enjoyable physically, right? So now, a person who is even by mistake, I'm not going to all the details, a person who doesn't know that the woman he's having relations with is, let's say, it's a complete mistake. He had relations by mistake. Also, he fell off the roof, it says. He has relations by mistake. Or he ate chalev by complete mistake. There's still a level of chiyuv, of at least malchus. Why? Because his body enjoyed it. The fact your body enjoyed something means you have to do something to the guy, even though his level of consciousness was not as strong. So have a meaning, baby, even a cotton. The cotton enjoyed himself. He was a willing partner, relations. The guy was a rather developed 12 years old guy. He had a lot of fun with the woman, yeah? So maybe Havamina was you have to be Mechayevim, Kamash Malani not Mechayevim. So basically, what are we saying now? We're saying two things. An underage boy or girl, if they had relations, are potter. They are potter, after all said and done. Secondly, and more important for our context, if a woman was miskadish bekoton, it's not Kiddushin. You don't kill her. A woman was miskadish to a koton and then she had relations with another man, then you don't do anything to her or to him because she's not an Eishes Ish. Oh, Zog the Gemara, wait a second. Now, if you talk about regular Kiddushin, I understand. But Lamaisa, if you say miyayid, if you say that a person may be miyayid, a woman, an amavriya, to who? To his son, a cotton son, a little son, a minor, imken matzinu ishus lakoton. Yeah, we found what? That ishus does apply to a cotton. Why is the Torah telling me that a woman who was married to a cotton doesn't get any punishment? Here, there is a woman who's married to a cotton. Yud, matzinu. We found regularly a cotton cannot be mekadosh, cannot be kohen. No. We said that from Pnei Yeshua. Hey, but here we have one case. Maybe we see that sometimes a cotton may be mekadosh a woman. In Yud, she may become. He's not mekadosh. The father was mekadosh for him, but he becomes a real husband. So why is the Torah telling me that a wife of a cotton doesn't get any punishment? You see that yes, there is a woman to a cotton. Something is wrong here in the logic. I can see by some people's faces, and I'm very happy. Says the Gemara, no. The logic is just the other way around. Are you telling me that the Pasuk is telling me that a cotton is not miyayid? Meaning there's no yud to a cotton, the father is not miyayid to the cotton, and the cotton never, ever, ever has Kiddushin? There is no such thing as Eishes cotton? If so, then why is the Pasuk telling me that a wife of a cotton is potter if there is no such thing a wife of a cotton? If anything, tifshat minod de miyayid. It can be pashat. The deal does apply. Let me explain. The pasuk never said, and that was a smoke screen. did the pasuk say that there's no kiddushin to cotton, or did the pasuk say this pasuk doesn't talk about what's nice and rosy and pinky lechatchila? The pasuk is talking about b'di'eved. The pasuk is telling me if so and so sin together, you found them, excuse my language, in the bedroom together after a straw. Yeah, then what? Then we say you don't kill, you don't kill. What did we say? If a wife of a cotton was with someone, you don't kill her. Does that indicate that there is a thing called wife cotton, or that there isn't? That there what? There is. You're saying the Havaman, you're saying the Maskana. I'll tell you why. The Torah doesn't say there is no Efla cotton. The Torah says if he had relations with the cotton's wife, you don't kill them. Mashma that there is such a thing called Eshes cotton. And the Torah takes care of it by saying if he had relations with an Eshes cotton, you don't kill them. Mashma Eshes cotton is the real thing. It's not telling me there is no Ishat cotton. Let me ask you a question. Why doesn't the Torah tell me if you eat a flying pig, a pink pig flying in the air, something doesn't exist, then you chayiv and not chayiv? Because these things don't exist. A pink elephant, excuse me, a pink elephant flying in the air, what happens if you catch him on Shabbos? Why doesn't it talk about it? Because it doesn't exist. If the Torah tells me about something, it means it does exist halachically. If the Torah says that if you had relations with an Eshes cotton, then nothing is happening to neither of you, that is to say there's no misa, but an Eshes cotton is the real thing. Otherwise, the Torah wouldn't have said that. That's the current logic, yeah? And Mimele Dmar wants to say, let's turn the tables. Maybe we should learn from this pasuk that there is really Yud. Because again, a regular cotton, a regular 11 years old, or 9, 10, 11 years old, who just, puts on his chosan best and the bow tie and decides, I'm a Kaddish, my classmate, learns in a modern co-ed school, that's nothing doing. That's for sure nothing. We proved it from 2 places. And yet, if the Torah tells me that there is a thing called Eshes cotton, you don't kill them. Mashma, they exist. So where do we find an Eshes cotton? Must be by Yud. Yud already we saw is weird. So Mimele, let's say the Yud does work for a father for his cotton boy. Maybe let's prove that. Maybe that is the one case where there is Ishus Lakotan as an exception. And on that, the Torah said, even though there's a real Ishus Lakotan, you still don't kill his wife. Yes, because the Kiddushin was limited. You're not Chayiv Misa. And says the Gemara, no. Omar Avashi, I have another solution. You don't prove anything about Yud Koton. Over here, when the Torah told me that there is Ishus Lakoton, but there's no Misa, B'yavam ben Tesha Shonim B'yom Echad, Abal Yavimtoi Askinan. The Midoraisa Chazia Le. Which means as follows. We're talking here about Yavam, long time no Yavam. A Yavam of 9 years old and a day. What does a Yavam have to do with the Oraisa in order to acquire his Yavama? What? Just Bia. The other things are the Rabbanon, with the Oraisa, leave Maimer alone. With the Oraisa, once the brother died in Gaza, Chas Shalom Lo Aleinu, no children, no science fiction. Now he has a brother who's 9 years old in a day. Of course, the Kiddushin may not be Kiddushin, you may claim, but Lamais, if he had beer with her, all you need is a physical beer by Yavam. So if his little brother is 9 years old and he had beer with a sister-in-law, whose husband died, then he works. Taisus claims that it's not. I'm following now Rashi. Rashi says Midoraisa works. Now he's the husband. The Torah says again that works and she's his legal wife. Because all you need by Yibum is the Maisa Bia. You don't need to be coining her with a ring and coin and say anything. It's a physical thing. Once there's Bia, they're married automatically. And Bia does apply to 9 years old, 9 in a day. Imel, she's his wife. Here we found Maldetema. One would have thought Kemen Medoraisa Chazile would be also Bia. I would say since Medoraisa she suits him, she's his, and the Bia is a real Bia. If so, Haba Lea Mischai Beishasish. So maybe a person has relations with her is Chai Beishasish. Kamash Malan that he doesn't. What would happen later is another shayla if she needs to get out of Kiddushin after Bar Mitzvah. That's a whole new question. But Lamaisa, we managed to detach the whole story of Kiddushay, of Yud Koton from here. In other words, it's true that you have a concept of a married woman, or I would say, very finally, half-married woman. She's a married woman, the Bia is a Bia. Taisa says, really, it's more, he claims with the Rabbanon. The other brothers can't have her anymore. She's like Meyucha to him. She's like halfway through with a brother, the Koton. However, she's not fully married, Le'inyan, that if she has relations now with another guy, then they're not Chayiv Nisa. But that is the story of Yibum. Back to us, regarding the case of the yi'ud for a katan, we still remain in a question. We didn't manage to prove anything, neither this nor that. We don't know, again, back to square one, we don't know whether the father was miya'ed, the girl, the Amma Ivriya, for his little boy who's below bar mitzvah. Does it work? Doesn't work? Good question. Fact the Gemara, my havialo. My havialo means my havialo. Whenever the Gemara asks my havialo, it means we really got messed up here in the middle of the jungle. And please tell me, what did they say about it? What's the halacha? Yeah, tell me now how to get out of the jungle. My havialo. What was written about it? What was said about it? You should really write that as a rule. My havialo is like, it appears many times in the Gemara. That's why I'm stressing it. Yeah, my havialo. What's the story about it? Which conclusion did we come to regarding the matter? Toshma, let's hear. Amar be'ebo amar bi'anai, en yud ela begodol. Yud only applies to a godol, to a kid above bar mitzvah, or a man above bar mitzvah. Whoever is above bar mitzvah, Yud only applies to him, meaning the father may be miyai to his son as long as the son is overage, is of a suitable age of already shtei cyrus. And Yud alamidas, Yud also has to be done with the das of the husband of the chosan. He has to have das, will and knowledge that this is happening. Frag the Gemara, Karti, why repeating the same thing twice? Yeah, obviously, if you need das, then he has to be a godol. A katan has no das. So why didn't you just say one thing? Tarti means twice, two. Why are you repeating yourself twice? He's saying two statements. Yud only be godol. Yud only midas. Well, just save us the space, save us this print. If you say only midas, we know it's only a godol. Cherish shorty v'katan have no das. Why do you have to repeat twice? This means says differently, but this is Rashi says. And says the Gemara, matam ka'omar. Yes, Rabbi Yanai did say one statement. He did mean two parts. He meant to say two parts of the same statements. Two statements part of the same idea. Matam en yudela begodol lefisha en yudela midas. You know why Yud only applies to big kids, to a father who is Mekadesh, the daughter, for his son who is above. You know why only above? Really, it could have worked for a little boy, like we saw by Yibum. There could be such a thing. But here by Yud, it has to be Das, because the Chosan side has to have Das, the man has to have Das, even though he's not the one acting, but his father is the active party. But Lamaisa, he is the Chosan side, he has to have Das. And soon you're going to see that there is Exersa Kosuv. The word Yi'ud means Das. Yi'ud and Yadua are connected philosophically. So there has to be knowledge. Surely on the men's side, there has to be knowledge. Whether there has to be on the girl's side, that's going to be the next topic. But the men's side, both father and son, there has to be knowledge, consent, and I don't know if the son has to agree. L'choyer das means agreement, as far as I know. But the girl, it's a question. By a boy, pashtus, he has to want it. The boy, he has to be a bar mitzvah. The boy sema. Another pshat. Why we mentioned das as a separate statement. My midas. You know what midas means? Midas dida. Wow. Midas dida. She, the girl, she has to. I can't translate now. Machloikas, Tosis, and Tosis Rosh. What does it mean that the girl has to have das? Tosis Rosh says that she has to want it. Tosis Rosh proves from here, there, and everywhere that the girl, as little as she is, she still has to have will. We're asking for her opinion for the first time. In other words, midas dida means she has to want it. Tosis says no. It doesn't mean she has to want it. It means she has to know about it. She has to know that it's happening, and it's a me'akev. You have to inform her that she's getting married to that boy or to the father. Otherwise, no. The Tani, as we're going to see now, the Tani Abaye, a brisa that was taught by Abaye, it says Asher lo ye'odo. Again, ye'odo melamed, that teaches me shetzorch leya'ado, and the very, very strong version here against yado is leyado. Leyadea, also in modern Hebrew, means what's leyadea? To inform. To inform, you have to inform her, and according to Tosis Rosh, you have to really know that she wants it. So in other words, there's a special halacha here, nothing to do with the boy. So really Rabbi Abu made two separate statements. First of all, the boy has to be a big boy, even if the father does it for him. Secondly, the girl is underage as she is, and I don't know how much das she has. But Lamaisa, she either has to know about it, or she even has to want it within her. But the Rishonim say in the Perek Sheni that sometimes kids, we all know kids have preferences, right? The kid like screams, for 5 hours. He wants this ice cream, not the other ice cream. Kids know what they want, kind of, or they think so. So basically, the Ktana has to either want or at least know about it, and that's a special Gzeras HaKosuv. Yeah, by Ktana, usually when a father is Mekadesh his daughter Ktana, he's not asking her. But by Yud, that is her business, so to speak. Who Tani law. Now, when is it true that you have to make her know or make her want? Who Tani law, who Omer law. Abaye, the son of Rabbi Abo, is the one who brought down the Brisa. Who Tani law, he's the one who taught the Brisa, who Omer law. And he's the one who explains the Brisa, and he's actually minimizing the Brisa. And now we're going to do something beautiful. We're going now to connect what we learned at the very, very, very beginning of the Shiur. We're going to connect it to the end of the Shiur. The Kiddushin Yud V'aliba d'Rabbi Bar Yehuda. You know who's the one who says that the Ktana has to be involved? The Ktana has to want / no. Rabbi Bar Yehuda. He's our man from the beginning. What did he say? The Omar Moisel Shoynos Lav Kiddushin Nitnu. Period. Very good. Rabbi Bar Yehuda is the one who said what? The first money given by the father to the master, who's a potential chosen of the girl, right? Was it given for Kiddushin? No. Meaning that money will never turn into Kiddushin. The father is sending her knowing she pay me miskadish. Yes, she may be miskadish in future, and halavai it happens. It's good for the father. But Lamaisa, this money, as opposed to Chachomim who believe that this money will, in some retroactive way, will become Kiddushin, Rabbi Yosef said no. What does he say? How is she miskadeshes? By the amount of work that she owes him. She wakes up at the last day of her slavery, of her Amos, right? Either before Simonim, before Yovel, before whatever you want, 6 years, and he tells her, now you owe me a day's work. It's worth 100 shekels or even less. You owe me 1 hour's work, which is work Shave Pruta, half an hour. As long as in her deduction of work, she has enough work worth Shave Pruta, he can stop early enough before the end of the day and say, directly to you, directly to the girl. Don't do the spanja. Spanja means to wash the floors, yeah? Don't do the dishes. Don't hoover. Don't hoover. Don't use the vacuum cleaner. It's don't hoover. Yeah, you don't have to do all that. Instead of hoovering the floor, what do? Sit there, and I'm mekadesh you with the money that you owe me in your work. So it's independent to the girl, not the father. And that's exactly what? Yes, because she's involved and she's kind of independent. That was a tricky formula we found, right? That was a shtick we found. That's the only case in the Torah that a little girl who still has a father is miskadish independently while the father is alive, and the Kiddushin apply. And she has to say yes according to Rabbi Yehuda. Exactly, that's the point. Now Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak Omar. Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak says differently. Afilu temel Kiddushin itnu. Even if you say that Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda believes it's the Kiddushin, Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak is the one who at the beginning of the page we had issues with. Because he says, even if you say according to Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda that the original money was for Kiddushin, a classical idea. There's no such thing of marrying her directly. It's the first money that was given, and that's the money she's miskadish. Not from that half hour of time out, of time off. No. Still, she needs to be in agreement. Full stop, period. Here, the Torah says a special Gzeras HaKosuv. Although really it's the father who gave the money, and it's the father's money who's mekadesh her, nevertheless, she still has to know it / want it. Special Gzeras HaKosuv. The Torah says, Yi'ado yeda'o. You have to have her das in the story. Why? Because that's what the Torah said. It's the father's money. It's money given to the father, but it's her consent. That's definitely in the case of Yud, even though there is no shtick of deducting from her sechar. Very good. And then we're going to see Meretz Hashem tomorrow. Rabbi Yosef will be more in depth. Baruch Hashem. Thank you very much. Atzlocho, bracha. Have a terrific week. Atzlocho. Atzlocho to all our soldiers down south and to all of us. We should be stronger in Torah and Tefillah. That would make them work. Be'ez Hashem, win the war. Atzlocho, bracha. Thank you to everyone here and everyone in Torah Anytime and a YouTube channel. Atzlocho, kol tuv.